Well, good morning, everyone. My name is Mighty Stream. Today is July the 25th. I hope that all that you had hoped to accomplish in the month of July is well underway, because July is well on its way out the door. My goodness. I'm brought to you by Hope Through Navigation, and this is our Hood Recovery Services. You can reach me at recoveryofhope21@gmail.com. I'm looking forward to doing our Just for Today in a meditation for the same date. So let's go ahead and get into that screen. All right, I think I like this better when it's down below. Okay. All right, let's get into this screen, into this meditation for July 25th. 12th step failure is in a question mark. Having a spiritual awakening as a result of these steps, we try to carry this message to addicts and to practice these principles in all our affairs. Step 12. There is no such thing as a failed 12th step call. Even if our prospect doesn't get clean, we have accomplished two purposes. We have planted the seed of recovery in the mind of the addict with whom we have shared our experience, strength, and hope, and we ourselves have stayed clean another day. Rarely does a recovering addict leave a 12-step call with anything but a deep dose of gratitude. Sometimes we are practicing the 12th step without realizing it. When our coworkers or other acquaintances know some of our history and see what kind of person we are today, they know where to go when they have a friend or a loved one in need of our help. We are often the best attraction that NA has to offer. For many addicts, the 12th step is the cornerstone of recovery. We truly believe that we can only keep what we have by giving it away. The paradox of the 12th step is evident, for in giving, we receive. Just for today, I will remember that I am a living example of the 12th step. I cannot fail when I try to carry the message to another addict. Let's take a moment of silence, followed by the we version of the Serenity Prayer. Moment of silence now, please. Thank you. Pray. God, grant us the serenity to accept the things we cannot change, the courage to change the things that we can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Just for today, please and thank you. What a powerful reading. There is no such thing as a 12-step failure unless it is the one that you don't work. And it's not difficult to work, right? Because one, you're having a spiritual awakening as a result of these steps, and you try to carry the message to addicts and to practice these principles in all of your affairs. It's not difficult to do a 12th step unless there's some steps that have been missed along the way. This is not one of those steps that I truly feel has to be written out in order to work it, although I recommend writing the steps in order. This is a step that almost without your permission, if you are a recovering addict, you are going to find yourself in a position where you're having spiritual awakenings as a result of this lifestyle. Hopefully as a result of these steps, and definitely as a direct result of having surrendered to the disease of addiction so that you can win the rest of your life. This step is deeply spiritual. And there's layers to it. There's layers of spiritual awakenings. And so I want to say to the newer individual that you are going to find yourself having spiritual awakenings. And then when you get to this step in writing, in the sense of writing it, you're going to wonder if you put the cart before the horse. And I say to you, I submit to you that that is not the case. Because your spirit should technically be awakening and coming to life from the moment that you stop using drugs. Now, when you start doing step work with your sponsor, there's going to be a different level or layer. I want to say layer, right? Because the first surrender is very deep, right? That's admittance that you are not, you don't have any control or power over your disease of addiction. And that's very personal for a lot of people. It really can take the wind out of a person, especially if the bottom you're scraping is pretty deep, right? And so there's layers. You know, I kind of look at the more you increase in your step awareness, the more humble you become, and the more it's kind of like, it's not like this guiding light where you're walking up these stairs to get to these pearly gates, right? It's not like that. It's kind of like the stairs descend into humility, into service, into graciousness, into kindness, into mildness, into goodwill, right? So it's kind of, to me, if I had to put a picture on it, it would be the stairs coming out of the disease of addiction, out of self-centeredness, out of pride, and descending into a utopian of goodwill towards self, others, and God, right? That's for me. So when I say there's levels, I sometimes get twisted with that because I don't want someone to think that by the time you get to the 12th step, you're at a higher level, right? By the time you get to the 12th step, writing it, should be such a level of commitment to service work and giving back what you freely received. And sometimes that is not going to feel it's not going to feel, it'll feel internally good and beneficial, right? But there's not that showy display of all of what you're doing. There's several people around here that have been cleaned for over 30 years that are still doing service work. They're still keeping our website clean and current, and they're involved with convention planning, and they're doing all of these beautiful things. But if you just met them in a meeting, you would have no idea that they are involved in that layer of service because they're not arrogant. By the time you get to the point where you're doing this 12th step intentionally, the level of arrogance is far from you because it really requires a humble individual to take time out for a struggling individual with the disease of addiction and carry that message. It takes a humble individual not only to carry that message to someone that still hasn't gotten it, or maybe they got it and they relapsed. It takes a lot of faith. It takes a lot of courage. I cannot tell you the number of 12-step calls that I have gone into dens with other recovering individuals. Their homes were dens. The lights were out. There was no more running water. And these were people that were a part of the program and decided to take their will back. And me and other addicts decided we're going to do a 12-step and just pop up, and we're going in force with those that are strong in their recovery, right? Not those that are going to be all triggered for the next month behind a 12-step. No, 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 no. strong and ready in their recovery to do this. And we've stood in circles in the dark with rats running around our feet, with individuals that used to be in the program and taken a moment of silence, said the serenity prayer, and went around and encouraged this individual. Right? And I would love to say that they all came back. A few of them did, but the majority of them had to go even further into the depths of their addiction. And there are a couple that never made it back. They had the beauty of recovering addicts coming to them, dragging them out, and doing a 12th step with them. And they couldn't handle the love. They could not handle the level of shame that was created within them. And we didn't come to shame them. We didn't come to guilt trip them. We came to remind them of who we were before they met us. And we shared with them our experience, strength, and hope. And that level of love, that level of sacrifice and humility was overwhelming. And they couldn't bounce back right then and there, because some of the people that were in that 12th step call, and I'm talking about several, when I don't want you to think it's a specific 12th step call, because there's several, but there were people within that 12th step call that individual that had relapse used to sponsor. Huh? And some of them chose not to come back. It was just too much of a hike, even though we were extending our hand for them to take, and we were willing to walk it and hold it with them. We were willing to drive them to treatment. How many miles have we, in the spirit of the 12th step, driven to take another addict, a using addict, to treatment? This is very serious. And I don't want you to think, because you haven't ridden the 12th step, that you're not going to have spiritual awakenings, that you are not going to try and carry the message to other addicts, and that you should wait to practice these principles in all your affairs so you write this step. No, you, as soon as you have an understanding of a spiritual principle and how much of it you haven't been working, you should be working, right? Let's be for real. So by the time you actually get to the point where you are writing this, there's been so many small, I don't want to even say small, because every spiritual awakening that brings you closer to love and closer to peace and joy and faith is large. But you should have other spiritual awakenings along the path of your journey of recovery, so that by the time you physically are writing this 12th step, there's no telling what's going to shake loose. There's no telling what else your higher power is going to ask of you. And you're going to have an animate yes. Yes, I will, God. Yes, I will do that, God. When God shows you in the 11th step his will that you ask for the knowledge of and the power and the strength to carry it out, when you get to step 12, you will amaze yourself at the level of love and humility and kindness and gentleness and mildness and patience and long suffering and endurance and goodwill. You will amaze yourself at the levels of it, the depthness of it, the intensity of it, the passion of it, that you are willing, the lengths to go to be used by God. It's a wonder. It's my life. It's what allows me to breathe and be contented in nearly every interaction I have with another human being. Whatever energy they're bringing me, especially if it's negative, cannot encapsulate the love that God has given me, the ability to show them. I'm amazed at how the lower destructive power can try to use a person to bring me down. And I just say, love wins. It wins again and again and again, because I have been completely inculcated. I have been completely steeped in spiritual principles as a result of coming to Narcotics Anonymous. And I hope that's your story. I hope that's your story. There are some people that avoid me, but it's not because of anything I've done to them. It's because I've loved them. And I don't stop talking about God. I don't stop talking about spiritual principles. I don't stop talking about love and righteousness and justice and peace. I will not, it will be my dying breath, because I believe that God pulled me out of the horrors of addiction so that I could meet the call. I could live up to the purpose for which I was created. And I hope that's the case for you. I hope you have that much awareness about what you were created to do and that you're passionate, because if you're not, I want to suggest to you that you get busy doing some service work. You get busy incorporating other people into your recovery. You get outside of your shell, even if it's just listening to this podcast every day. Even if it's you and your buddy listening to this podcast at the park every day, you have to step outside of yourself in order to see what needs to be adjusted. No man is an island. And if you are a person that you don't feel you have any character defects, there's no shortcomings, there's nothing, no other work that you can do, you think that you have arrived, that tells me that you are really, really closed in. And you can gather with people on Zoom NA meetings, recovery meetings. You can have dual conversations with people. You can have Marco Polo conversations with people, sending videos back and forth. You can FaceTime. You can Zoom for 40 minutes without even purchasing their license. You can tell yourself, I'm going to Zoom for 15 minutes with each child that I birthed. I'm going to Zoom with other recovering people that used to be in my network. I'm going to say, can I send you a link? I just want to catch up with you. I've had some of the most wonderful conversations across Zoom. Everyone's comfortable in their own atmosphere, and we're just laughing and kicking it up and enjoying one another. One-on-ones. That could be your life. This 12th step, it's impossible to fail at doing it unless you never do it. Unless you never do it. And the person that has never reached out to another recovering person, the moment they get the understanding that they keep what they have by giving it away, the moment they get that spirit of goodwill and love and care for others, their whole life is going to just blossom, become more fuller. Do you find yourself sometimes in conversations with people that are taxing on your energy? Conversations with people that drain you? They don't never have anything good, funny, They always come, and then it doesn't necessarily have to even be sponsees, but they always come with their hand out. You ever have conversations with people like that? And you just wonder why you even bother. Those people are drawn to your light. Even if they think it's financial, they're drawn to your light. In every interaction, you have the opportunity to be in touch with someone. Is an opportunity for you to change their life through service. My name is Mighty Stream, and I've enjoyed talking to you. I will talk to you tomorrow.